Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Chucky. Fans say that Chucky, the television series, is way too sexualized and way too woke. And well, you know, have they never watched the movies? I know I just have and everything. See, the television show is what got me into Chucky. I didn't watch it when I was growing up because I wasn't allowed. And so, like, after watching a television series about 3 years ago, I tried my best to watch the movies, find them on apps. I watched the first movie, and I believe earlier this year I found all the rest. And so I watched them. And well, if you watch those movies, if they're so-called Chucky fans, they would know it's been sexualized since like Bride of Chucky. And as for like wokeness and everything, well, once again, it's been woke since See the Chucky and even a little bit of the third movie and stuff. But, we're living in times where people think, they have to jump on the bandwagon and complain and scream the word woke 24/7 because it's fun for them to be angry and everything. And, I don't understand it. The internet's been booming for about 23 years now, and a little bit over that, to where they could have complained about this a long time ago, but they never did, because once again, it's fun to jump on the bandwagon and just hate things for the sake of hating things and getting clicks and likes and views and all this other crap. But there is some truth to what they said, but then again, there's not, because once again, they don't know what they're talking about because they're not true fans and stuff. So, okay, let's get down to the topic of sexualization. Now, in the movies, the first three, they weren't sexualized at all. They was just straight up slasher movies. And they was in the 80s and the early 90s. And it was just a straight up like slasher horror type thing. But then once you get to Bride of Chucky, Tiffany Valentine is what brought the sex appeal. And, she's a grown woman who dresses very provocatively. There was even like a sex scene in one of those movies and stuff like that. Then even the two dolls like literally did it, and you saw like the shadows and everything like that. So it's been sexualized since like the late 90s and stuff. So I don't know where they're coming up with this theory. However, for the TV show, I will agree that there is a disturbing truth to this. See, in the movies, the adults were sexualized, but in the television show, the teenagers are sexualized. And that right there is a problem because, you have Devin and Jake, who are like a couple, and you're constantly seeing these two on top of each other, making out, stuff like that. Making out's fine, but if they're actually implying that they're actually doing more than that, then there is a problem. I'm not sure how old the actors are, but it's not the fact that it's two dudes, it's the fact that it's implying that they might have had sex off screen. That's the implication that a lot of people do get when you see them constantly on top of each other, making out and kissing. And sadly, that isn't in a lot of teen dramas and stuff. That's one reason why I hate when teen dramas do that, when they be having all these teens, well, pretend teens, they're adults playing teens, and sometimes they're teens playing teens, doing all this sexual nature and stuff. Then there is Lexi. In season 1, she was very much provocative. She dressed slutty. She was a skank. She was just rude and nasty. And in the third season, because I haven't finished the second, but in the third season, in the very first episode, she's dancing very provocatively on TikTok, thirst trapping people. And the character is still in high school. And as for the actress, she's actually pretty young. I don't know how old she is now, but when the show started, she was still a teenager and stuff. In fact, she's the actress who played the young Dolly Parton in those NBC TV movies about Dolly's earlier lifestyle growing up. She is very young. Like, I've been a fan of her entire family for like years, but she's the only one I will not follow on social media because she's just too young and everything. And so, yeah, there is a problem with that. So I will give the toxic people that and saying the show is too sexualized when it comes to that of the teens and everything. As for the wokeness and everything, well, woke in terms of Hollywood woke, not the actual real world where, like black people struggling, stuff like that, and like people putting them down and shooting them and killing them and all this other stuff. I'm talking about Hollywood woke, where you introduce like diversity in terms of people of color, LGBT, stuff like that. It's been there since the movies, people. It's been there since, like, actually the third Chucky movie. Like I said before, first two, straight up horror. Nothing but a white cast. Then you get the third movie. Well, the first movie had a black dude to it, but he didn't really do much. But then, starting with the third movie, there was a new young kid, and there was a black kid. There were more females in, like, the movie. Plus, there were females starting with the first. The mom is pretty much a huge protagonist in the first movie. Then in the second, the foster sister is. And then, of course, like in the third, you have those two girls and stuff like that. Then Tiffany Valentine. And then, so on and so on. In terms of, like, LGBT characters and stuff, Cedar Chucky was the standout point of, like, movies embracing gender identity. You had Glenn. And Chucky and Tiffany kept arguing about if Glenn's a girl, if it's a boy. And Glenn decided on both and everything. I'm like a non-binary like person or something like that. And or maybe like a trans. I forget if they had the body parts down there or not. But anyway, started wearing a dress, went by both names, had split personality and everything. That was something people never seen before. The reason why it was never in the early movies because it was the 80s and the early 90s and stuff. There was no way that the director, creator was going to get away with that stuff. But as time started to change, people started being more okay with it and stuff. Cult of Chucky had a bisexual couple in there, and Curse of Chucky had a woman with a man's soul inside her body. And, when it comes to the television series, they decided, all right, we're going to like introduce more like LGBT characters and diverse characters. Devin is gay and he's black. Jake, the main protagonist, is also gay and stuff. Devin's parents are like both two lesbians. And the reason for this isn't because they're trying to shove it down your throat. It's because Dan Mancini, the creator of Chucky, is an openly gay man. He wants his side represented. And now he's living in an era which he can actually do that now. Whereas in the past, he was not allowed because it would have alienated people. And this is really jacked up that people don't want to see his vision like come out and him representing himself. You know what I'm saying? And, seriously, like it's been woke since literally like the earlier movies and stuff. Not the early movies, but like, mid 90s and 2000s and stuff. It's because times had just changed. So this isn't new, but yet you think it's new and everything. And because you're not a true fan and everything, or you just want to complain for the sake of complaining. And, I just don't get people like you. Like, I really don't. It's like you feel like everything has to be white, straight, and male. And nobody wants to go back to those times. And it's just sad and pathetic. You have to whine and complain like a bunch of babies and everything. Also, when it comes to LGBT characters in the Chucky franchise and the Bride of Chucky, Dan literally cast like one man who's gay, who is the photographer, who created the Hairspray movie, and then one dude, that Arquette person, who Tiffany was doing in the beginning of the movie. That actor later became like a woman, and may she rest in peace because she's no longer here. But she was like a transgender person. And so there's always been this in like the Chucky franchise. It's just you knew about it, but now you want to complain. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.